Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Hanson. It's really good to be talking to all of you today. And I'm going to be talking through having the courage to care, solve, and share. Let me just make sure that I'm good to go here. Okay, great. So my name is Erica. I lead the Developer Student Clubs program globally, and I'm based here in New York. And I'm going to be sharing some examples of different developer student club communities around the world who have the courage to care for their community, care about solving local problems around them, care about helping each other out, and then the courage to solve those local problems with each other, build technology that solves local problems and helpful solutions for people, and also the courage to share back with other people, inspire others about what they can do together as a community and how they have supported each other. So let's get started. And first, I just wanted to give a bit of background about me. So I'll do a brief introduction. And the first thing is I'm from California. So that's what this is up here, from Los Angeles. I went to Stanford University where I studied psychology. I also did take one computer science class where I learned JavaScript and HTML and was the webmaster for my rugby team site. So that's where I did start to get more interested in technology, and also got interested in tech through my father, who also likes to code for fun. And after that, I went straight to Google. So I've been at Google now over 13 years, about 13 and a half years. And I started in the Mountain View headquarters. That's where I was first answering the phones. So anybody could call Google and ask questions about how Google works and about their also their marketing campaigns online. And basically was working with mostly small to medium-sized businesses on their advertising campaigns and helping them reach the audience they want to reach. And then I moved to London. So this is the London Google offices in the top right here. So this was, this is the London office where I was working on the sales operations team, mostly project management work. And I did do a few 20% projects. I was managing the mentoring program they have there that was helping startups connect startups with Googlers for mentoring. Then I moved to the Google Singapore office. So that's this picture in the middle here. And that's where I joined the developer relations team. And that's the team I'm on now. So basically our team is focused on helping developers be successful and helping them grow as developers. So I was focused on that in Southeast Asia and mostly focused on Indonesia. So working with startups with the Launchpad Accelerator program there, and also working on developer student clubs there in Indonesia. And that's where I got interested in community. So I went to one of my first community events. That's here on the left here. It was a Google Business Groups, a community for people interested in learning how to start and scale their businesses online. And so that was, this was a Google Business Group, GBG event, and really loved the passion and energy and when people come together in person and online and really support each other as a community. It was a place for people to come learn about technology. And so I got inspired and I co-founded a community in Singapore. It was called Geek Girl Meetup Singapore. That's this image here. Basically helping women who are interested in learning more about design thinking. We also had a number of workshops on startups. We did a 3D printing workshop. And so I really enjoyed bringing people together, having a space for people to learn, share their ideas, support each other. And so that's why I love community. And so that leads me to New York. That's where I live now. And I'm leading the Developer Student Clubs program globally. And so I really am passionate about communities and providing that space for people to come and learn. And a key part of that is all of you. All of you are part of these communities, Developer Student Clubs, whether you're members, you've attended events, or your core team members or leads, and also GDG. I know we have some GDG folks in here, which is great. So really, it's all about community, supporting each other, helping each other grow as developers, and that's really at the heart of what we're all doing. So Kamal already mentioned what Developer Student Clubs is, in case anyone has just joined the live stream now. Really, it's campus, university campus-based communities where it's all about helping student developers learn and grow as developers, and also work with our communities to solve real-life problems. And our goal is really to create impact. We want to impact students and empower them to impact their communities through technology. And that's really what all of you are doing. You have an impact within your communities in your own ways, whether you are a member or you're leading a community, a core team, all of you are creating an impact and have the capability to make an impact and help other people out. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being part of these communities. This is a picture of me. I was in Egypt actually a couple of months ago, and these are the DSE leads and core team members from Egypt. This was in Cairo. So I had a really great trip. That's me here, that's Aya, and we just have awesome leads. So I really want to thank them and all of you for being a part of Developer Student Clubs. This is a newer program, a newer community, and it really, the success and the impact is because of all of you being a part of it, sharing your ideas, coming to listen and learn, and also share what you've learned from other people. And that's something that I've really found in actually throughout my career is you can be, I've really looked out for mentors and opportunities to learn, and then I've also tried to give back and I've tried to be a mentor to other people, and also have tried to teach what I've learned. So anytime that I've learned something or I'm being mentored, I actually have 2 people who mentor me, and then in turn I mentor 2 people as well. So I really want to make sure that I'm learning from other people, getting support, but I want to make sure that I'm giving back to the same number, or if not more, and that also really does solidify your learning. So one other example, I learned Android. I did a Udacity course. It was Android for beginners. So I learned, and then I taught for a weekend after that. I wanted to share, what I've learned and help other people who haven't gone through the course. And I then taught the course to 8 women. So I'd love to encourage all of you, and I'm sure a lot of you are already doing this, but just when you're just making sure that you have mentors, but you also are mentors, and that you're sharing back what you're learning with other people. And I find that really does build community, and that is at the core of community and what all of you are doing. So I just wanted to say thank you. So now I'm going to talk about having the courage to care, solve, and share. And that really is a key part of being part of a community, whether it's Google developer groups or developer student clubs. That's really at the core of a successful community, is that everyone comes together, has the courage to care about each other, supporting each other, helping people through their learning journeys. Some people are brand new to learning a technology. Some people are more advanced. So having the courage to care and support each other through your learning journeys, and to care about solving local problems in the community, looking around you to see what problems can you solve, can you support other people, can technology help with that journey? And then having the courage to solve those problems. And it's great to care, but also take it a step further. Can you solve some of those problems? Can you build something through technology to support them? Can you lead a training to support people? And then having the courage to also share with other people what you've learned, what you're doing in your community, to inspire others to do the same, or to join you and be inspired to build and solve local problems in the community. So I'm going to share some examples now. And these are stories, you're going to see a lot of examples from Indonesia and Sub-Saharan Africa. And these were a few of the regions that were initially in the program at the start. So that's why I have some of these stories. And also because I know some of these people personally and was part of their journey actually at the start. So let's get started. So first I'm going to talk about having the courage to care. And so to do that, I want to share a few stories with you. So Meet Hastu, she is a part of a developer student club in Indonesia, and she decides to join a DSE workshop to to learn more about Android. So let's walk through her journey. Next, she attends a workshop led by a DSE lead, Tessia. So this is Tessia on the left, and this is Hastu on the right. And she's learning more about Android, and she attends some workshops. What happens next? So Tessia starts to mentor Hastu during her Android journey, supporting her along the way. And then next, Hastu joins a project team. So Hastu basically, this is actually part of the solution challenge, which you've heard from Komal about this. And basically, they got together as a team and said, hey, there's some problems around us that we can solve. Let's work on a project together and potentially share something as part of the solution challenge. Great. Next, Hastu built her first app to help blind students. So she did look around her and wanted to support students in her community. So she did that. There were some blind students in her community that she wanted to support and decided to build an app to support them and tried to get a sense of what would help them. And so she worked on an app to connect these students to site volunteers and actually finish that app with her project team. And then Tessia shared her story with us. She shared Hastu's journey, and we were inspired, and we really enjoyed hearing about Hastu's Android journey. And then Hastu, we invited her to Google I/O, and this is where she actually shared her developer journey with Sundar. He is the CEO of Google, as you may know, and he really enjoyed hearing more about her journey. And then Hastu joins me on stage. So this was at the GDG Summit, and she then, had the opportunity to share her story with over 500 people. And so this is Hastu. She's a developer, and she also has an inspiring story. And one thing I haven't shared yet is that she did not think that she could be a developer or thought she might have challenges because she is hearing impaired. And so she thought that this would be a blocker for her. But through the community, she was able to get the support that she needed and extra mentorship to continue her Android journey and build her first app with the community. So Tessia gave Hastu the platform to grow as a developer. She cared, and she wanted to support her, and the community cared. The community was there to support her along the way, but they also wanted to solve something around them and help other people. Are there people that we can support? Can we make their lives easier through technology? Yes, let's work on this together. So the community cared about solving local problems or helping people make their lives better, but they also cared about the members in their community, and they cared about Hastu, and they cared about each other and wanted to really support each other as they build this app together. So that really was all about having the courage to care, and that is at the core of a community, and a vibrant community is making sure that everybody really does care about each other and wants to support each other through their journeys. And so now we're going to talk about having the courage to solve. So to solve local problems around them and look around and see if there's some potentially lives that they can improve along the way. And so I'm going to share a few examples of stories. And the first one, this is David Assem and his Developer Student Club community in sub-Saharan Africa. And so we're going to hear about what problem they wanted to solve in the community and how they got together to do this. So I'm going to share a video.
When I came to first year, I found it difficult navigating a lot of facilities on campus. Most first year students, they found it a major challenge. So I said, okay, this is something that we really need to solve. The DSE is a community where students who are like-minded come together to learn technologies in cloud, Android development, and web development. So after a few workshops, I figured that we could solve accessibility for first year students. We decided to use the mall as a use case to build a navigation system using AR technology. At first, people were like, this is really a complex problem to solve. But then after we broke the problem down, we realized that all the technologies we had to use, we had already learned them in our DSC workshops.
When I heard about it, I was like, David, I need to join this project because I was lost basically the entire first academic year. And that's what DSC does. It gives you a project and it makes sure that you are well equipped to work on the project.
So we had a lot of volunteers and we broke them into teams. First, we had a Blender team to get a 3D model of the building. Then we had a Unity and Scripted team who got the models and made it interactive and available to the Android team, who built the screens and the app and used Firebase, which stores user data and for business analytics. And we had a UI team who created a designer set and all the dynamic interfaces you see. Last, we had a documentation team who put everything into one file to make it available to the open source community.
My name is Paul and I study chemistry. I got inspired by attending one of the DSC seminars. I'm actually very impressed about my brother's journey here because I, as a computer science student, I just have to focus on the PC parts, computer building apps, but he has something else to do. But he's still taking some time off to help us and he's really doing a good job. Now I can build Android apps. That means I can use that as a part-time job and maybe chemistry as my full-time job, or maybe the vice versa.
There were times that we had to meet in the evenings. There were times we had to meet early in the morning just to get the project working.
It was hard, but then we looked at the bigger picture and realized that, okay, we can do this. So yeah, DSC is a family and it's about the learning of teamwork and leadership.
What we've built is not a perfect app, but we've come a long way by being able to use the knowledge that we gained from our DSC workshops. My God, this is cool. Who wouldn't love this?
Great. So thank you for watching. And I really love this video and just seeing what this community was able to do. They came together, the entire community got involved on a project. And I like what Joseph said. So he was one of the members and he said, that's what DSC does. It gives you a project and makes sure you are well equipped to work on that project. And Kamal mentioned this earlier, that a key part of the program is working on projects. It's workshops, you're learning about different types of technology, but then the next step is really putting that into practice and to start working on projects that put to use the skills that you've learned and that you can kind of look to see, is there something you can solve around you? And let's work on a project to solve that. And that's really a key part of the program. And I also like what he said about the fact that DSC is a family. It is about learning of teamwork and leadership. And this is getting back to what I mentioned earlier, having the courage to care and really as a team coming together and there is an element of leadership and working together as a team and getting these projects, working on these projects and getting everyone together, but also that teamwork is something that's really important to learn. And actually, I didn't have the opportunity to work on projects at university. Actually, I think I did work on one, but it would have been really great to work on more projects because that's all of what I'm doing now with my job. My job now involves teams and working on projects together, everything I do at Google. And so that really would have helped. So it's great that through these projects, you are having to really work on teamwork and leadership, and that really will help you become more industry ready. I really wish I had more of that earlier on. And so that was one example of a community that had the courage to care. And they really came together to see, is there something that we can work on? And they saw that they wanted to help students who were getting lost to navigate through the campus. And so they said, let's use a use case of the mall to help them get around. So they had the courage to solve and actually finish this project together. And now let's look at a second example. And so this is a community in Indonesia. So this is Dana on the left, and I've met him a few times. And this is his core team, and they were working on a project. They said, is there something that we can do to improve the lives of people around us? Are there problems that we can solve? And so a member of the community said, hey, my sister, there's a lot of flooding in their area. Is there something that we can do for this? Is there some way that we can support? And so let's hear a bit more about what they did. And so I'm going to play another video right now.
Saya dilahirkan di Bojonegoro. Ibu saya mendidik saya boleh bermain, tapi bermainnya itu nggak boleh jauh-jauh. Saya melihat kakak saya kebanjiran yang paling parah tahun 2007, di mana rumahnya itu sangat tenggelam, banyak korban jiwa yang ditimbulkan, dan kakak saya itu kehilangan.
Kemarin ya lumayan kemarin. Nah,
kalau airnya semakin tinggi kan nggak bisa lalu lintas kendaraan, kan nggak bisa lewat, kita biasanya pakai perahu. Palingnya kalau udah agak parah lagi kita mengungsi.
Warga juga pasti resah, kalau enggak sebelumnya belum diberitahu kan resah. Kalau sudah diberitahu kan nanti ada persiapan.
Saya ketika kuliah di PENS ini, saya pertama kali tahu DSC itu dari Dana. Seharusnya kita bisa menghindari hal buruk terjadi ketika kita mengetahui apa yang akan terjadi. Dana membantu saya sekali dalam hal tersebut bersama tim untuk membuat aplikasi Elfloat.
alat itu bersifat kayak misal di sini bakalan ada banjir, dari pemerintah bakalan langsung, tidak berdasarkan sebelumnya berdasarkan data kami, itu berdasarkan dari WhatsApp. Jadi setelah itu penduduk bisa ke posko terdekat, di sini ada lokasi poskonya. Terus kita bisa kayak ngeset arahnya belok kiri maupun belok kanan gitu ada. Karena kita memanfaatkan teknologi arahan juga dari Google. Oke, selesai?
Oke, selesai.
Oke.
Kemudian kita mencoba ke sana, kita menunjukkan ke warga Bojonegoro.
Kalau sekarang kalau ada aplikasi ini kan bisa langsung masuk ke HP-nya masing-masing. Jadi semua warga otomatis langsung tahu.
Di sini kita milih Balai Desa
Mulia Agung,
Menuju Arah. Di sini kita bisa lihat di posko ini ada berapa banyak orang.
Membantu banget berarti ya, sangat amat membantu.
Iya. Ini rencana emang akan kami rilis ke Bojonegoro.
Oh gitu ya.
With the power of DSC, so we learn all over the world. We can learn and teaching together and also to solve local problems.
Dengan adanya aplikasi Elfloat ini, saya merasa sangat senang sekali. Saya bisa membantu warga masyarakat Bojonegoro, terutama untuk kakak saya.
Great. So thanks for watching that. And it's really inspiring to hear this story. And I just love what they were able to do and having the courage to solve something in the community that is impacting the sister of one of the members. So what I like about this story is that they identified a problem, and then they gathered feedback from users. They also gathered feedback and input on the prototype. And then they were able to actually finish the project and push it out for people to use in the communities. So this is just an example of them having the courage to solve a local problem around them and getting feedback on it and making sure that it is actually supporting people and helping them. And it's really cool that they were able to deliver this to basically send alerts when there are floods in the community. And so, as Kamal mentioned, you can also do this too within your communities, and I know some of you already are, that you can basically start working on your projects or continue to work on projects if you started earlier, and participate in the annual solution challenge, which is happening now until April 30th. So this is the link down at the bottom left here, basically where you can check out the website, see what are some of the things that we're looking for, and submit your project. So just would really encourage you to check out that website, and you still have time until April 30th. And I know right now with there's a lot going on in the world around us. A lot of things are happening and people impacted. So think about if you are up for it and you do want to work on a project to solve a local problem. I know some students are coming up with some creative things around the coronavirus to see if there's something that they can improve and help people around them. This is something that you can also do and participate in the solution challenge. And the winner from last year, just wanted to share a little bit about them. This is basically in Uganda. Samuel and his team, they ended up building an app that basically keeps track of people getting vaccinations when they get shots, and also worked with a local healthcare workers as well to send reminders to people if they are due for a new vaccination. And they actually finished this project, and it is getting used. So this is an example of a community having the courage to solve a local problem around them, gathering feedback, and actually finishing that and helping people around them and in their community. So that was I talked about having the courage to care and to solve, and now the courage to share. So this really is about sharing what are some solutions that you've built to support your community, to help people around you. What are some things that you're doing in your community that might inspire people to learn or want to join some of your events? And so this is just about sharing, and there's different ways of sharing. So one I'm going to talk about is online. This is not the only way. It's also in person through events, or it can be online, just sharing what you're doing in your community. And so this is a spotlight of a DSC Ashesi and basically some of the, and this is in Ghana, and how they shared throughout their journey as a developer student club, how they shared the different workshops that they were doing and projects they were working on. So I'm just going to share a few of these this was from last year. And so they basically documented just different events that they had throughout the year, projects students were working on, and this was them just kicking off the club. So they had an info session, and I know a number of the DSCs here now have already had their info sessions. And then just continuing to share just the different workshops that they were working on. What were they building? So they talked about collaboration amongst developers. They were running some Google Cloud study jams. They also were shared like how they were collaborating with GDG. So they attended DevFest. I know some of them were, some of the DSC leads and core team members were actually speakers at the DevFest. So it's really great to think, how can we all collaborate with each other and get more people involved and join other community events as well. And they ran hackathons, they ran other workshops throughout the year, worked on Firebase, and they also continued to do other workshops where they learned TensorFlow, and also they did a project showcase at the end to say, hey, here's some of the things that we built as a community. So those are just some of the ways that they're sharing, but you have been sharing as well. So this is on Twitter, and there's other channels as well, but these are just a few that I picked up from. So Esprit University, they had study jams, and also this community SMU, just sharing some of their tech talks. And so these are just examples of ways that you can share with other people. Hey, here's some of the things that we're doing. Here's some of the things that students are building. Here's some of the projects they're working on, and really get other people excited to join and potentially be part of your communities as well, and work on some of these projects too. And one quote that I really like, this is from Tony Robbins, that the only limit to your impact is your imagination and your commitment. It's really limitless, your ability to have an impact, make an impact in other people's lives, in your communities, at your universities. And what's holding you back? Really nothing. It's limitless with your imagination, just being creative, thinking outside the box. Are there ways that we can solve local problems in the community through technology? Can we show some empathy and listen to people, hear what's going on, and see if we can support them in some way, or invite them to one of your community events and have them be part of the community. And also commitment, just having that commitment to put in the effort and time to engage with people, to teach other people, to mentor other people, and really the impact can be limitless. And you will make an impact, and you have been making an impact. And I've met some of you in person, and I'm really inspired by some of your stories and ways that you're supporting each other, mentoring each other. And I know now with the current climate and what's going on, some of this has had to shift online now, and you can still have an impact and show that you care and support each other, even in this online world right now where we are. And we do want to hear about the impact that you're creating. And one way that we are hearing these stories and listening is through this forum. So this is a public forum where any of you members or part of GDG, Women Tech Makers, or developer student clubs can share your stories. And we are reading these regularly and really looking for some stories of how you are impacting the lives of people, whether it's mentoring or running workshops that are helping people, or maybe a project you worked on that impacted your community in some way. So I do encourage you to share these stories with us. And we want to amplify your stories to inspire other people as well, and to share what are other people in the community doing. And it really does inspire others. And you can go ahead and share your own stories with the community. I know I've read some Medium articles or articles on social media of people like, here's my journey as a developer student club lead or core team member, or as or something that I've learned from going to one of these events or being part of this community. Just sharing back any stories or anything else that might help other people through their journeys. They might be newer to technology, or they might be more advanced, but just basically inspiring people through your own stories. And that really concludes what I'm sharing today, and just want to bring it back to encouraging all of you to have the courage to care, solve, and share, and the courage to care about your community. We heard about Hastu's story. She was a member. She wanted to learn Android, and her community provided that space and place for her to learn and begin her Android journey, to learn from the beginning and get that mentorship and support. So her community cared. The DSC lead who was leading the community really cared, and the community cared. But they also cared about, are there people around us that we can support in some way? Can we help people? And they did, and they did work on a really great project. And then beyond having the courage to care as part of a community, having the courage to solve those local problems around us, to solve problems using technology and actually putting in the effort and time to solve those problems. And then having the courage to share back with others. What have you built? What have you learned? And really to inspire other people to join the community or to also share their own journeys, especially during this difficult time where we could all use some inspiration and support from one another and empathy to really work together and have vibrant communities, whether they're online or in person. It's really all about community, and a backbone of community is just having that courage to care, solve, and share. So thank you so much for listening. And I wanted to also mention that make sure that we all have fun. Let's not forget that we should have some fun, have some laughs, and hear stories, fun stories as well from each other. So never lose sight of making sure that we're smiling and having a bit of fun from time to time as well. And I'd love to stay connected with you. Some ways to connect with me would be through LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn page. Twitter, you can follow me. And I have a new Instagram account if you search for Erica Community. And that's how we can stay connected. Feel free to send me a message. And thank you so much for listening. So that concludes my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm here to take any questions that you have or feedback on the presentation, any other ideas. And I'll start reading some of these comments. And while you're typing, I'm just reading some of the comments. Thanks for sharing. As has been mentioned, now is the time if you are interested in becoming a developer student club lead on your campus. The interest form is open, so you can go ahead and apply. So the link is there. And the other thing that's happening now is the solution challenge, where you can work on a project that uses one or more Google technology, and that's open until April 30th. And so we're really excited to see what projects that you build. Yeah, so feel free to add any comments. I'm also checking on my phone. And by the way, this is my apartment. Sorry, it's not a little bit more clean, but I do love flowers, so you'll see some flowers and books in the background. And I'm based here in New York. I'm not seeing any questions. Let me just double check and refresh. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And thanks for sharing that community story link. That really is for GDG, Women Tech Makers, Google, anybody, developer student clubs, members, anyone, to share any of their stories. So you'll see the link in the live chat. And we do read these regularly. Our marketing team reads them. And we're always looking for inspiring stories. We might make a blog post out of it, or a video potentially, or we might share on social media. And so we are regularly reading them. Oh, thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Yes, it's a bit of a hectic time here in New York, and they did extend the us needing to stay at home for another month. And so I have been working from home for about a month already, and a lot is going on. The streets are pretty empty here in New York, and people are connecting online. And so that's really the main place for community right now, is online. And so this is a good opportunity for us to be there for each other and support each other online during this time. In New York, it's definitely, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, thank you, Aya. Yeah, so if there's any other questions or comments or stories that have inspired you, or if you've made any posts as well on your projects, you can share any links to your social media as well. I'd love to follow you, or if you add me, I will follow you back. Great, so I'm looking at questions. Share more about what DSE done and other futuristic projects. So yeah, I can share more. I'm just checking any other questions. Let's see. Okay, great. So yeah, so other projects. Let me just share my screen again. Actually, I want to show you. Let me pull up a couple things. These are, I'm pulling up a few stories. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen, just making sure that you can see this. Yes, this should be working. Okay, Great. So this is yeah, great. So you can see my screen. So this is the Solution Challenge website. So just to give a sense of some of the projects that folks are working on. So this was last year. And this is where you can see, I did mention this already, but this was a project from last year, the immunization calculator. So you can take a look here. And on the About page, there are some projects as well where we've documented a few of the projects from last year. And I did touch on some of these already. And one of the latest projects, just in light of what's going on right now in Singapore, there was one university where they were supposed to have an open house and for new students to come and take a look at the campus, but they had to cancel that because all in-person events were canceled. So some of the students that were part of developer student clubs ended up building an experience. I know they used Minecraft and used a couple other things as well to build a virtual tour for people. So instead of the in-person tour that got canceled, they built an online virtual tour. So students were still, prospective students and people were still able to basically have this virtual tour and take a look at the campus virtually. So that was with the current times, just thinking about here, is there some way that we can solve this for our campus, our university? And they did. And that was the Developer Student Club doing it. So that's one of the latest ones I've heard. Here are some of the past ones that I had mentioned on the call. And yeah, I'm really excited to hear other projects that students are working on. We've already been getting some submissions from all over the world. And we did have thousands of students did register and say that they were interested in starting to work on a project. So we're excited to see how many of these projects get finished and submitted. And then we'll be sharing those out more widely with everybody. So I'll stop sharing my screen. And I'm really excited to see, yeah, what students build in the future, and if there are other, even at a higher level, if there's other ways that we can improve the Developer Student Club program, other types of projects students can work on at a broader level. We're really open to any feedback. This program has been around for a couple of years, so we're really open to any other ideas. And how do we make the program better? Are there big projects that students can work on outside of the universities together and collaborate with other DSC communities on other university campuses or with GDGs as well, and maybe work on things together? So we have 3 minutes to go. Let me know if you have any other questions or feedback on the program, or any questions for me about my journey at Google as well. I'm open to talking about that. It's been 13 and a half years across different offices. If you have any questions about that as well, I'm happy to answer anything else in the last 2 minutes. And I'll also think about if there's anything else to share about developer student clubs. I know Kamal covered a number of things, and really what we're trying to do is help students grow as developers. And a key part of that is the community itself. It's all of you, and mentoring, supporting each other, sharing your knowledge, and then working on those projects as a way to build those skills. Yeah, so what plans for DSC for the future? Yeah, thanks for asking that. So right now, the short term and then long term. Short term is the process is now for people to submit their interest form to say, hey, sure, yeah, is it possible to summarize your walk through Google in a couple minutes? Yeah, so, but first about DSC, in the short term, it's finding new leaders. Many of them likely will be part of the core team to take over to be Developer Student Clubs leads for a year. And a key thing as well is making sure that we can provide the content and support to make sure that you have content that you can share with your communities so that they can learn and grow as developers, working on projects as a way to become more industry ready. And longer term, I would love to think about ways of how do we engage with the DSC alumni better? How do we engage better with the core teams who are critical to the success of the program? And I would love to continue to have an engagement with the alumni after their DSC leads in the future. Are there ways that they can continue to mentor and support? Are there ways that we can help connect people to jobs in the future, potentially? Is there more access that we can give people to online learning platforms? And so those are a few things that are top of mind, but we're really open to any other ideas. And yes, I know I'm out of time, but there is more information about the DSC program at the link here. And yeah, in terms of my time at Google, just within 30 seconds, it's been a great journey. And what I've really learned is that a key part of what I learned is it's all about the people that you work with. I really value Google and the company's mission and the people. I find that I work with a lot of creative and smart people who enjoy problem solving and coming together as a team to see how do we solve some of these challenges, or are there new opportunities that we can work on together. And that's been a really inspiring part of my journey. It's really about the people. And also being proactive and asking people, hey, can I support you with this project? I have a bit of extra time. I've worked on 20% projects. And for me, a key part of my journey has really been about living in other countries. I've learned so much, and working with people across different countries. I've learned about different people's cultures. And so for me, it's been a great experience to work and live in other countries. And I've really been inspired by some of the people that I've learned from. So I know that I'm out of time. So I have to end here. But let me know if you have any other questions in the future. And thank you so much for listening. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.